Great. Well, let's kick off our
Yeah.
2025 Culinary Medicine class series. So welcome everybody. So glad that you're here joining us today. As Allison said, I'm just putting the screenshot here, right? How to navigate some of the functions of Teams. I think most of you probably have been here to a class or two before, but as Allison said, just know that your microphones and your cameras, everything's kind of been shut off, but feel free to interact with us in the chat. We will be inviting questions as we go through. This class is really for you, so we want to make sure that your questions are answered as we go through our time together today. By way of introduction, my name is Heather Charles. I'm one of the wellness coaches here at Kaiser, along with Allison. She's over on the Big Island. I'm over on Maui. We got awesome Chef Alyssa over on Oahu. So we are well represented across the state today. So Chef Alyssa is a personal chef. She's got over 25 years of experience. I think it's got to be closer to 30 by now for how long we've had this
Yeah.
class. Yeah, but we're so lucky to have her because she brings such
Aw.
flavorful recipes that are very doable for us to do. So I hope you're excited to explore some plant-based meals with us. And really our goal for our time together today is to, eat food, not too much, and have mostly plants. And you may have heard this term before called a plant-based diet. And you might be thinking, okay, but what is such a big deal about this particular type of diet? Well, it's got a lot of accolades, a lot of research behind it. In addition to cutting your carbon footprint in half, it's also the only eating style that's been shown to prevent and reverse chronic diseases such as type 2 diabetes and coronary artery disease. That's a really big deal, you guys. We're preventing and reversing disease through the foods and the nutrients that we're putting in our body. I think that's really exciting. But what is this whole food plant-based diet? What does that really mean? It means that we're going to celebrate its food in its most natural form, closest to way that it was grown. So food that our ancestors would recognize as being food. That would include fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds. While we're maximizing some foods, we're also minimizing other foods. So weeding out some of the processed foods in our diet, the refined sugars, the white flours, and animal-derived foods. Now I get this can feel a little daunting, right, compared to the style of eating most of us probably grew up with. And that's where we have this phrase here on the screen as a guidepost for us. These were written by Michael Pollan. He's an American author and a journalist. He's written a lot of books about food and health, and he came up with this. So eat food, not too much, and mostly plants. And I think most of us come into this knowing that vegetables are good for us and we may struggle to eat them or make them in a way that tastes good and inviting to us. Um, they aren't always seen as being delicious, right? It's a chore to eat it. So we hope that we're going to shift your mindset with that. While we're going to cover as much as we can in these classes, we do hope that you will pursue more education. And we have a Stanford School of Medicine series of videos that were put together in 2016 called Food and Health. They're short videos that range between 3 to 5 minutes. They all give introductions and really practical skills and kind of the why that we might consider moving our diet in this direction. So I'm going to go ahead and put the link to those videos into the chat here. And I hope that you'll check that out.
Yeah, and I'm
Okay.
sorry, I just want to say I'm sorry you
Yeah.
guys are chatting in and it's not coming in. There was something about being verified or not, and I'm trying to work it out. So if you aren't seeing
Oh,
your
okay.
chatting in, just wanted to let you know I'm working on
Oh, thanks for that, Allison.
it.
We definitely want to hear from you. So if you have the chat, feel free to chat in so we know that it's working. I also just want to take a moment and briefly touch on the handouts that were included in your invite for the class, specifically this healthy plate diagram. So the healthy plate is a way of categorizing our plate to maximize the vegetables that we're getting. So we're actually dedicating half of our plate to vegetables, a fourth of it to a lean protein, and a fourth of it to a starch. So I'll give you an image of that on the screen here. For plant-based eating, right, that protein part of our plate is going to come from sources such as beans or lentils or tofu. So a little bit different. And those are some of the ingredients we're going to be showcasing in this class series. The main takeaway from this plate, I would say, is to make it look colorful, right? If you see color looking back at you, you know that you're moving in the right direction. If you want to learn more about this whole concept of the healthy plate, we have registered dietitians that put together a separate 90-minute virtual class called Get Your Plate in Shape. And that would go over a lot of different versions of how to create meals in this format. Okay, before we get to the cooking, I am going to pull up the recipes that Chef Alyssa is going to be preparing for you today so she can briefly review the ingredients with you. As a reminder, your invitation to join class today also included links, right, to those handouts, to the recipes, so you have the ability to print or save them for yourself. And again, if you have questions or we need to bring up the recipes again later, no problem, we can pull that up again. Lastly, just want to acknowledge that there may be a wide range of people attending tonight. For some of you, this might be your first class and we want to give you a warm welcome. Thank you for trying it out. And for others of you, right, we've had this class for a couple of years. You may have been joining us for quite some time. So you're all going to be at different stages of making this transition. And just know that we want to support you to move in the direction that you choose at your own pace. The recipes are adaptable to your personal tastes and preferences. And if you need any substitutions, we'll be happy to punt that question over to Chef and she can share some ideas on that. So just congratulate yourself for being here tonight. Enjoy watching, enjoy learning, and hopefully being inspired. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass the baton over to Chef Alyssa so she can do a brief review over the recipe she's going to be making today.
Okay, thank you so
All
much.
right,
So
you're welcome.
we have a Bali bowl is with tofu and peanut sauce today. So it's kind of with a sheet pan kind of concept. And we're going to cut up some tofu and we're going to put it on a baking sheet. And then we're going to chop up sweet potato and then some red bell pepper and onion. And we're going to toss it and put it on the sheet pan and bake it off. We're going to make a peanut sauce, and then we're going to talk about a grain and some other vegetables, the fresh vegetables that will accompany it. And it will give you some ideas on how you can recreate different meals throughout the week and just make your evenings a little easier when you come home from work and are really hungry.
We all need more of those types of recipes, right?
Yeah.
What can I do quick with variety? I love it.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'll also pull up the savory vegetable recipe.
Yeah, so this is a savory roasted vegetables. We're going to talk about different kind of vegetable combinations that we can add to this sauce, which is more, I have some fresh thyme today, and we have balsamic vinegar and maple syrup and olive oil and garlic. So it's got a little bit of a flavor, a different flavor profile. And we're going to show how you're going to cook that up and have that as another variation for a weeknight meal.
Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take, oh yeah.
Don't take it off. Will you go back
one
so I can put that recipe up for everyone too, just in case. I know you all have it in their email, but just take a quick picture and then you can.
It's more convenient.
It's just if you guys will have it, and then now you can take it down, Heather. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to take down this presentation part, you guys, and we'll be highlighting Chef Alyssa's cooking station. So you should be able to see that on your screen now.
Yeah, hopefully everyone sees that in the center of their screen or over on the side. If you can thumbs up or let us know.
Should be a blue bowl with a bunch of ingredients around it is what you should see.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Okay, so we're going to start off with a block of fresh extra firm tofu. So I got, generally I try and buy, if you can find extra firm or just fresh tofu that's firm. This was from actually H Mart. It was an extra firm. The whole reason why I talk about extra firm is that it doesn't have as much water in it. So if you just, it's one that you can basically kind of pat dry and you can cut it into pieces and it's nice and firm. The other option would be getting a firm or a medium firm tofu and then maybe draining it and pressing it a little bit to get the extra liquid out. So what I've done is I wanted to show you because I cut them into triangles and I wanted to kind of show how I did that. Was I had a block of tofu. I'm just going to give you this is part of the tofu and I've just cut it into kind of into squares, maybe about a little more between 1/4 and 1/2 inch, just slicing it. And then you can just turn it on its side. You can do it like this, you can do it in smaller cubes, but just for a pretty presentation, you can cut it into triangles, just like this, okay? And then what we'll do is we'll lay that flat on a sheet pan. So I'll go ahead and bring out my sheet pan for you right here. We're going to drizzle a little bit, or just what I like to do is a basting brush. So what we can do is just put our tofu flat on a portion of our baking sheet. Now I have parchment paper on my baking sheet. That just makes the cleanup a little easier, so you don't have crusty things as you're baking that you have to work on scrubbing too much. Okay, so I've got that. And then what I did was I cut up some sweet potato. I peeled and chopped sweet potato, and I've got them in relatively similar sizes. The bottom line is more on the
Chef,
yeah.
I hate to interrupt you. I don't know if we're having a little technical difficulty, but it's a little blurry on our side. I don't know if you can see or if your computer's all on fine. Just want to make sure anyone else seeing that, or maybe it's just me over here. We want to make sure it's nice and clear. Maybe it's your internet may be a little, yeah, it's very blurry and frozen. So let's give it a second. Yeah, it's blurry. So I don't know if on the camera, if there's like a little focus, or I hate to say it, but it's very blurry for us on this side. Hate to interrupt right middle cooking. We don't mean to throw you, but we want to see what you're doing. Okay. As long as you have your computer on the side, if you can see it, I don't, let's see. Maybe clean the lens. We just want to make, I don't know if there's like a little ring on the front of on the camera, if it can like refocus a little. If not, it's not we just are not getting a very, we'll give it a minute and see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because we don't want to miss out on a thing.
I'm sorry.
And it's kind of cutting out. Too.
Yeah, you're cutting in and out. So we might have to, I wonder if it's her internet connection on the computer. Yeah, I think it's a connection thing. I know. See, I love all that. It's true. Might have to move it back a little. You're going to have all the producers you
or
love.
Maybe
your
go
little,
out.
Yeah.
Could she go out and come back in? I don't know. It might be risky.
I know. I don't want to get her totally out, but we want to make sure because it's really hard to see. Usually on the little web cameras on the front, there might be a little way to adjust to make it less blurry. Or yeah, just check on the computer that you have it attached to if your internet connection's okay. If not, we can always attach to your phone. We have the nice picture of you the other way, and we'll just play it by ear. Yeah, because we're only getting every other word with you now.
Interesting.
interesting that it's the food is taking over and we're not, let's, um, yeah, we might have to take a little moment and have her, I don't know, log
Sign
in and
out and
log
come
out.
back in.
Yeah, don't log out of your other one on your camera that you have over here. I'm going to add the spotlight for a second so we can see. Don't turn off your phone. Okay. Um, Let me see if I take it off, stop it, and do it again. I just wonder if her computer is not connected to the internet. I'm going to stop the spotlight for a second, Heather, and put it back up
Okay.
in 1 second and see if maybe
Okay.
that helps. Sorry, you guys. It's because I said that, and then let's try again. Where's
Yeah.
Alyssa's other camera? Let's see. How come I don't see her on the? Did it go off or did she have gone out and
She
in?
might have gone out and come back in. Although I see her on here still twice.
Oh, you do. Let me see. Where's our Chef Alyssa? We'll get it, you guys. I know everyone's, thanks to, here we go. She's probably trying to get it up there. I'm going to spotlight that again. The camera's off. She's probably resetting it up.
Was trying to change.
Well, if we have to, yeah, your every other word is kind of cutting in and out. I wonder if, trying to think of what else it could be with our laptop. If not, what we'll have to do is we'll have to do it from her phone and you can, talk into the camera at your phone and then we'll just kind of lift things up as we need and talk through it. We're not going to let this stop us. If we don't have it, I just want to make sure her other camera isn't on now either. Her phone isn't. Yeah. The joy of live TV, you guys. So.
Right. And it was working up until
we started.
5:07.
I know. That's okay. I'm just curious as we're kind of sitting here, if you can chat in, how many of you have done sheet pan cooking? Because it's sort of my favorite thing to do because I'm that person who I'm like, oh, I don't want to do so much. I'm the one probably asked for it. It's
Ooh,
such a
Rhonda
good one.
has.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's such a good one. I should put up my picture in there of
And Mickey.
yeah, it's good. Although we wouldn't, we hope we haven't lost her completely. Don't leave us, you guys. Give us a few minutes and we'll fix our technical difficulty here. Where, did she log out? Maybe.
Yeah, I agree, Annie. But good to have when you have the oven on. I'm also being very adept at using the air fryer. So you have to do it in little smaller chunks without having to turn the
Yeah.
oven on. So you can have kind of sheet pan meals with a little bit of a cheat method
Yeah.
all year long. Yeah.
Although I do want to show, because I got so excited, just since we have the moment, I'll see if I can
Yeah.
share my picture. So I decided I'm always going to the parties where, everyone's a really good cook, and my sheet pan cooking really saved me. Let me just see if we can add it because, and it was a big hit and it was so easy. So let me add this in, see if you guys can see it even in the chat. Um, you know how to do this all the time, Heather, but the idea, and I'm going to send that right there, is that you can make a good amount of food and have it for a few days to do different things. And we're hoping when Chef comes back, you're going to see the joy, but just vegetables and they're so pretty, colorful food. If you look in the middle, if that picture does open, I got the beets from Costco and didn't even have to do anyone the cooked one. And I just blended them up with a little olive oil and mixed them on potatoes. And everyone thought I was like a star and I knew what I was doing. So roasted vegetables can really make you look good, So I just
Right.
love that. So
Great tip, Allison. Well, and like
I
I said
know,
at the beginning too, of just making our plates look a little bit more
hmm
colorful. I mean, look how colorful that picture is. It looks
right?
beautiful. You feel healthy just looking at it.
I know.
So,
It's really
yeah.
true. So let me see if as I'm getting so excited about the food, I have to see if our sweet chef I hope she didn't lose connection. So, but this is how it goes. Let's give it a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
Actually, why don't we also pull up, I'm going to just pull up that, we could pull up the classes that are coming. And
Oh yeah, we
actually,
can kind of
you
begin
know,
with the end.
I know you
I can
guys,
pull it
since
up
you,
on the
yeah,
PowerPoint.
that would be great. Would you do that? The
Sure.
thing I also, since we have a moment and we'd love to hear, we always love to know what you'd like to learn about. What kind, we asked this at the end of our last class, but like what is something, we have this chef who really gives us these best ideas. If there's anything you really are enjoying and wanting, let us know. So we set up do we have the flyer for our, oh, good, for next.
Oh, I don't have
Oh, no,
the
you don't
specific
have the
the
culinary.
culinary medicine one,
I
but I have
had
this
put it
one.
in the chat, but I wonder if we can open it. Yeah, in the, that's okay, because our next month we're going to be doing lentils. We have our special one with our magic with mushrooms. Just so you guys know, we're going to be doing spring salads. We're going to be doing local favorites, veggie style, potlucks and parties, pastas and sauces, quick and easy meals, fall soups. I might add in the one I just tried, and then take
Ooh.
it for lunch. So we have a bunch of great ideas that we're hoping will really inspire you. I can, what do I do? Is she completely logged out? Let me see if she can't get back in. Hang on. I want to see if I
Okay.
can, I'm going to go offline and help her.
All right. And while we're kind of waiting here, I'm just curious, for how many of you is this your first class, or are you kind of repeaters coming to the culinary medicine class? You can chat it in if you want to. Just kind of curious. For how many of you is it your first, your 30th class, fifth class, first class? All right, Sarah, glad you came. Well, first class from, oh, right, Monica. First class, Anne, yep. Yes, Margot, we always love seeing you here. Ben, second session. Mickey, first one for you too. All right. Oh, I'm so sorry, you guys, that this has been a little bit of a holdup at the beginning. It's actually a first for us. We've been doing this for several years, and
Three
it's the first time
years.
yeah, this is the first
Yeah.
time we've had this type of an event
Yeah.
happen. Rhonda, maybe 4 or 5. Okay, did you hear from her?
No,
Did she?
I think she's trying to get back in. You know, we want to help. We really put our chefs on the spot because, they're so creative, and then we make them be technologically advanced here. So I'm going to see if I can at least send her. I just wonder even if she can get on with her
Phone.
phone
Yeah.
and we can see her. That's what I'm working on right now. So you guys
Okay.
stay with us for a few more minutes, because even if we can get through,
Hello?
there she
Hi.
Oh, I
is.
hear her.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
Let me see if I
So,
can.
Here, let me take down this
Yeah.
PowerPoint
Yep.
and see.
And even if, Chef, if you can, if we just see you, you have your camera on here, we'll just have
yeah,
you.
I just can't hear you.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Let's spotlight you for a minute. Okay. If you can, we don't see you though. Is your camera on? Is that your computer? Is that your phone, Chef Alyssa?
There.
There you
Oh, there
go.
we see
I
her.
can hear
There
you.
she is. Well, if anything, you can just point down to the food after you make it. We want to just see, we're not going to let this get us. If you can leave your camera kind of where it was and cook, like since your other computer isn't on, um, we'll just have to do it with this phone where we see you right now, and
Okay.
you can, and then put the phone back down and you can do some cooking, and we'll just watch along, and then you can show us, hopefully, like have it
Okay. It
just.
it did said the internet wasn't on, but I rebooted it, but I can't seem to get the laptop to
Oh, that's all right. So why don't you
all
just put your
right.
camera or there, and we'll do it
Yeah.
this way,
Okay. All
because yeah, we aren't going to let anything stop us. You have all that food set up. You went through all the
right.
work and it looks
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
delicious. So,
So, okay. So where do you want me
although
to?
wherever you had it before, you know how you put the camera to just look at you while you have it leaning
Okay.
against, yeah, it's down where it was so we can watch you cook.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. That was interesting.
Okay. And you know what? You can
There
just
we go.
lift up the food as you do it and show us the bowl. Because we see, Nothing's going to throw us, Chef Alyssa. You did all this work. We see your beautiful face, and you can just hold up that, like what you're doing right by your, or tilt your phone down a little. It doesn't matter. There.
I got it.
Or just lean it where it was, and then just cook away. And you can lift up by you your vegetables as you put them in, so we have an idea. Oh, look at
Oh,
that.
there we go.
There,
Okay,
exactly.
so I have the sweet potatoes. I'm going to
Well done.
toss them in a bowl with a little bit of, I have some avocado oil. So I'm just coating the sweet potatoes that I've chopped.
Looks great.
And then I am going to put that on my parchment paper lined heat pan. So I've got that next to the tofu. And then I'm going to take some red bell peppers and some onion that I've cut into a half moon. The red bell peppers are in slivers, slices, and I'm going to toss that. I have a little bit more that avocado oil in there. Toss that, just get it a little coated. Then I'm going to put that at the end of the sheet pan, like that. And what I did today, just some ideas. I'm just going to keep giving you ideas as we go along. What I did today, I did half of this ahead of time. So when I did it ahead of time, I put a little bit of salt and a little bit of, I had a basting brush. So I've got this basting brush right there. And I've got a little bit of oil, and I'm just basting the tops of the tofu with a little bit of the oil. And then what I did, I put a little salt and a little bit of curry powder, just for the fun of it. So you can do whatever you want. You could put some turmeric, that would be nice. You can just, what we're going to also do is we're going to make a peanut sauce and put a little bit of peanut sauce on there. That's another option. But now the sheet pan has the tofu and the sweet potato and the onions and red bell peppers, and I'm going to pop that into an oven. Now I had put through 425 on this, but my little smart oven, just kind of bigger than a toaster oven, that was a little hot for it. So I'm going to try 375, 350 to 375, and see how that works. Okay.
Great. And you can put the phone down, and as you're putting it in there, we did have a question for you. Are you cutting everything up kind of the same size when you do the sheet pan cooking? I see the tofu is a little bigger, but what's the rule for that for you when you're cutting your vegetables to cook them on a sheet pan?
Well, excuse me,
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
You got it.
What I did was, because the root vegetables are going to be taking longer than the onion and the bell pepper, I've got the root vegetables a little bigger. The bell pepper and the onions, I have, excuse me, the root vegetables, I've got the sweet potatoes cutting more on the smaller side. And then the onions and the bell peppers are a little bit bigger because they're all going to cook together. Hopefully, we can kind of elaborate that a little bit more too as we continue on with the recipe.
Great, thanks.
Okay, so I'm going to pop this in the oven. I'll be right back.
Heather, you got the fastest fingers. I don't know how you type that so quickly, but thank you so much for doing that.
Fingers in the way. Yeah.
I know she makes her tofu look so much prettier than when I cut mine on a tray.
I
So
like that trick of cutting a
yeah.
square and then cutting it in half. I don't know why I
Exactly.
didn't think of that before.
Yeah, I agree.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the peanut sauce, and what I am going to show you how I do it.
If you can, and you can leave it on the stand, and if you want to hold the glass up, if you need two hands, we don't want you to break anything.
Yeah,
but
that's
so perfect.
What I'm doing is I'm going to put all the ingredients for the peanut sauce in my little glass measuring cup. So I've got the peanut butter in here, and about gonna do a little less water. It depends on your peanut butter too, but let's see, so I put a third a cup of peanut butter. I would start with a third a cup of water and then see how you like that thickness, okay? Because we're gonna have to put some on, you're going to pour it over your food. So you don't want it too runny, you don't want it too thick. So let's just start with that. I've got some cut up, where is it? Can I see it? Can you see it? Okay, this is ginger and garlic.
And as you're putting that in, how many people does this serve? We had a question, how, like 2 to 4? Depends on how hungry,
Yeah, I would say probably 2 to 4. Definitely depends on. So if, you're feeding a family, or if it's just you, you might have several more meals than if you're just feeding a family. And then this is, I combined together. This is in this little, let me see if I can see it. Such a good challenge there. Okay. This is shoyu, honey, toasted sesame oil, rice vinegar, and a good squirt of sriracha. So that's all going to go together into this. Oh, there's the sriracha. I was wondering where it just went to the bottom. Okay, and then that's going to all go in the blender. And I have one of those little kind of like a ninja blenders. So I'm going to go transfer this and blend it up. And then I'm going to show you some roasted, the end product. And then we'll put together a bowl and we'll talk about the rice and all kinds of, all the crunchies that we can add as a complement to this meal. So I'll be right back after I blend this.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's so fun to make these bowls because honestly, the more, they really taste better the next day, some of these foods, right? So if you do make enough and you're like, it's only for me and you have some the next day, it's just, you have a healthy food that has been marinating in this good sauce. And I love these, I don't know, this is Buddha bowl or there's all kinds of names for this, but it's so much fun. Get creative as you guys are doing it. Do it to your taste. Don't get worried or scared. It's just a lot of fun to create something that's healthy. And I love it because I know, Chef is going to show us some good things.
Yeah, that's the thing about these, that they're so customizable, right? You can make it how you want, or if you do have a larger group that you're feeding, you can make 2 sheet pans and put it together and kind of, you already got the oven on and just, boost it up a little bit. And if there's one of you or you're making it for meal prep in the week, it's great for that. Put it into the containers and you can just assemble it for your lunch throughout the week. And I know she's going to show us a lot of different ideas for how we can, create a beautiful bowl, a beautiful meal out of these things.
Yep, and it's good warm and cold.
Okay.
Look at that. Wow.
So I've got this blended sauce, and so I put it back into my glass measuring cup. I've got the blended sauce, and then what I did was I had baked some of this ahead of time, and you can see partway through the baking, I put some of the peanut sauce on it. So what I did was I stopped, pulled it out of the oven, and just basted a little bit of the sauce on top of the tofu, and then I kept cooking it. So it kind of cooked into it. So it's kind of like a peanut butter tofu, which is so delicious. And so now let's say that we are all done. And what I'm going to do is going to show you how we can make a wonderful meal when you come home from work, how to combine that. So what I've got here is I cooked up some brown rice, and I have some cucumber that I've sliced kind of in a julienne. I've got some sliced thin carrots. I've got some red cabbage. I actually had a bunch of some beautiful choice sum that I had bought at H Mart. So I just thinly sliced the choice sum. And then I'm going to add in the rest of our roasted vegetables here on the side. So
and I know while you're doing that choice sum, is that like, what is that kind of similar to? Is it like I don't know choice sum.
bok choy,
Bok choy,
or
like a bok choy. Mm.
yeah, bok choy. So it's like, as they used to, Daniel Leong at KCC had a class, he used to call it the joy of choice. And he just would have a class all on the different choy, choy green vegetables, which is kind of fun.
And I
But
know we
there's
can't see it because you're doing it, but was that cilantro on the rice too? Someone asked that you had on the top of the rice?
right. So that was cilantro.
Look at that.
You could do mint, green onions. I've just put the roasted vegetables on it,
Oh,
and
look
then
at that.
I'm going to place some tofu. I think I could, well, I could probably do with my hands at this point.
Chef, you are doing, I mean, I love it. I kind of like the close-up. We've never had that before, Heather. I feel
I
like
know,
we're
and
right
the
there and
picture
we're
is
going to
very
eat
clear.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
terrific. It looks so good, Chef.
and it's, yeah. Anyways, interesting that the internet would go out, right? Just as
Right
a,
in, yeah.
what's that? Okay, so now my peanut butter on them, and we have the sauce that you can, what I like to do too is just, oh, sorry, try
That's okay.
this with my, is put, I love sesame seeds. So I'm just going to put
Mm.
a little bit of sesame seeds on the tofu and just have this as a fun option for when you come home throughout the week. And just kind of circling back, if you just cook a pot of rice, uh, and I made some black rice too. This is what black rice looks like, which is kind of tastes a little bit like a nutty brown rice. And next month, we're going to do a class on lentils. So I'm going to talk about cooking rice with a lot of water, which is one of the ways that they do in Indian cooking, with basmati rice. But they also suggested in this recipe about that uh, this was one that Heather shared, and it's by an author, Sylvia Fontaine. And so I worked with this recipe, thanks to her, and she had talked about cooking the black rice with a large amount of water, and then you drain it. So it's kind of interesting. It's a different style of cooking rice. So if you cook a bunch of grain, whatever your favorite grain is, and then you bake all of this vegetables with some tofu on a sheet pan, and then you can have a bunch of chopped up fresh vegetables, make this peanut sauce. You've got quite a few different meals that you can play with. You can add however different vegetables you have in your fridge. You could do lettuce, but you can just see that there's all kinds of varieties here and ideas on ways to make your evening meals creative at the end of the day. It's just so nice to have
Beautiful.
food in the fridge to tap into
Yes.
when you're hungry.
Yep.
Definitely.
A little bit of pre-work, on a weekend or
Yeah.
whenever you have the
Yeah.
time is so
Yeah.
worth it, right?
Oh.
Just have those things chopped and in a few different little
Mhm,
containers in the fridge, and all you have to do when you get
mhm.
home is maybe heat up the tofu or something. If you want it
Right.
heated up, you can eat it
Right.
cold and just assemble it and sit down and
Mhm.
relax.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I completely agree. I made a big pot of this kabocha dish last week, and I tell you, every day I had some late nights, and I was so grateful to come home to that, And then I had rice cooked, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I can work this out. I was grateful. So,
Wow, Chef, that looks fantastic.
okay, so should I quickly move on to the next dish?
Absolutely. I
Okay.
took a nice picture of it for you so you could see your beautiful food. Although I'm telling you, as she's getting that already, we want to get into this idea, this whole Mediterranean way of eating. It's such beautiful, colorful, healthy food. So I want everyone to link into that thought of how nice, how happy your body's going to feel when you get that great food.
Yeah. Is this seem doable for you guys? Does it seem like
Yeah,
something you could see yourself making at home? Just kind of curious.
I know. Me too. And I want to try that black rice.
That
Oh,
looks really interesting
yeah,
It
too.
really does, doesn't it?
delicious. And
Yeah.
it's I actually got it in the bulk section at Down to Earth, or like I know that Whole Foods sells it. I'm trying to think. Actually, I think I've seen it at Times.
Okay, and then there was a question as it's coming in, how long should you roast the veggies?
I would start checking probably after it. The recipe I have, excuse me, just let me double check. 30 minutes, but I would check it at 20. You know, just start. I use either like a toothpick or I have a little. It's like a baking poker for cakes. But you know, I just kind of it was really the sweet potato that's going to be your indicator. You know, when your sweet potato is tender, that would be and then usually I like this last time I about 20 minutes in, I just pulled open the oven and put a little bit of peanut sauce because when you first put it in, I haven't made the peanut sauce. So I put it in, get it going, and then I make the peanut sauce next. Then I open it up and kind of put some peanut sauce on top. And then that worked out really.
I
And
love it. Look at that. I love it, Chef. I feel like, it's almost like she has the cover over it and it's like we open it up and look at that.
yeah, I know.
Surprise!
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, so this is a second recipe. It's the savory roasted vegetables, which we've made this before. I don't know how long ago. So I have my bowl and I have some cooked chickpeas and some fresh thyme. And I have some daikon. I have some broccoli spears. I have some oregano, salt and pepper. I've got a whole bunch of chopped garlic right there. Where is it? There's the garlic. And then I have some fresh parsley for the end. And then I have some cherry tomatoes. I have some onions and thinly sliced carrot coins because the carrots are going to take a little longer. I mean, because they're root vegetables, they're a little take longer to cook. And then I have some cremini mushrooms cut into kind of large fourths or halves, depending upon the size. And then right here, I have a combination of golden balsamic vinegar. I didn't have any dark balsamic, maple syrup, olive oil, and that's it. I feel like, and some Bragg's. So I'm going to put all these vegetables in the bowl, toss it, and then put it on a sheet pan.
Hey,
And then,
yeah,
yes.
I was going to say, just put it on the stand while you're doing that. So even if it's looking at you, we can look at there. Yeah, right. And just turn the screen towards you so we can see. I know you guys are getting dizzy. We could feel like we're cooking on that's great. Oh, there you
Right
go. And then
there.
there we go. As she's mixing them up, we'll watch her. We can just put it there. So you don't have to put it on there. You're doing great. Alyssa, if you can do this, we can do, like if Chef Alyssa can do all of this with one hand and trying to tape it, I know we can do this at home
That's true.
then.
Oh
She's
yeah,
in
that,
the cooking Olympics right now, and this is the first
Exists.
hurdle. Yeah, she's
that
doing awesome.
Yep. And then once, yeah, you can show us when you're done.
yes, I will. What I did was I just put the whole sprigs of thyme in there because they will kind of fall off in the cooking.
Oh,
So I've just got all that.
I
And
didn't know that.
I'm gonna pour this over and then toss it. And
And you,
so let's see what I got here. Let's see. Will it turn? Yeah.
it
Very humbling.
will.
No, it's not. How about if I go
There
like
we
that?
go. That's fun.
Yeah.
Perfect. There you look at that.
Okay, so I left the broccoli kind of big because broccoli will cook fast. Actually, all of this, the only thing that's really going to take maybe a little bit is the carrots. So I cut them really, really thin. And then I'm just tossing this to coat. And then I have the cooked chickpeas, which will be wonderful. They'll get a little crunchy and absorb some of that wonderful balsamic and all the herbs. And then I'm going to, I think I got just a little bit in here for you.
Mhm.
And then I'll put that on a sheet pan and I will just kind of lay it flat. Let me get a sheet pan. Be right back.
Are we getting you guys all into getting a sheet pan and trying this? I'm telling you, once you go sheet pan cooking, you just don't go back.
And parchment paper to make the
And
cleanup
parchment
easy.
paper.
Yeah,
Yes, it is nice to do
get the
that.
part paper. Okay, so I'm gonna do this and then I'll show you what I did. This is a garlicky dish. Let me get these guys all flattened. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Oh, nice. Look at that variety.
Yeah.
I tend to go with, like what do I have in the house, but also what's fresh in the market.
When you have
So,
tomatoes, I don't think I've roasted really tomatoes before.
It's
That would be good.
good.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't always think that's not one of the ones that come front of mind for me. So it's good to remember that that's
Mhm.
another one we
Right.
can add.
Yeah, and the daikon, right? I mean, that's not probably one that a lot of people.
Yeah.
I like what Rhonda said, like a stir fry without the work of stirring or frying.
It's true.
It is good.
How big is the oven you're using? That's a
I
question here.
I have a Breville Smart Oven.
Hmm.
So what I have here, this is the pan that came with it. So it's considered a half sheet pan. Uh, and so if you did a 9 by 13, you'd have to put it in a regular oven.
Yeah.
So this is based on 4 cups. I think this is about 4 cups of vegetables. So yeah, we'll see how long it takes in my oven, but I have it 350 for 30 minutes. And then I'll probably open it up and maybe toss it a little bit, make sure that nothing is charred and is still coated well. And those tomatoes will help moisten things up too.
Yep.
So
Hmm.
pop
That looks
those.
so good. You know what's
Yeah.
also really nice? If you have that extra heads of garlic and
Mhm.
you
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't always have to do it in tin foil. You just take the garlic, the whole garlic head and cut the top off a little and keep it in the
Mhm.
skins. Put a little
Mhm.
olive oil in it and then we always stick them in on the sheet pan and then at the end they just kind of ooze out and it's just so delicious. So
Mm.
I highly
Yeah.
recommend people try that. It's
Yeah.
delicious.
That is a great idea. Sometimes I
Hmm.
even just pop, have some of the whole bulbs. I
Yeah.
mean, when you're breaking it off, and I'll just put those in on the side of a sheet pan, and then I'll use that like in a salad dressing or something after. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's nice. We spend so long trying to get it out of the paper of the garlic, and yet you keep it in there cooking and it's wonderful. So that
Mhm.
looks great.
Thank you. So I'm going to go pop this in the oven, and then at the very end, I'm going to put in the bowl, and I have some fresh parsley to put on top, and that'll be really pretty. Or you could do basil, any kind of fresh herbs.
Mm.
I think that is a good point. Like, just look what you have. When you go, sometimes we get really excited when we go to the farmer's market and we buy a bunch of things and then they're
We
sitting
go, what
there
do
and
I do with it
I
now?
know. And then you just don't, like in the beginning when I was learning, I was like, I didn't want to throw it out or compost it. And so this is a nice way, cut them up, cook them up, stick them in the oven.
Yes.
I liked it. What was it, Rhonda? All the stir fry without the work of stirring and frying. That's my new saying. I love that.
I love that too. Yeah. Oh, and then you saw the question there too, Allison.
Oh, I didn't go. Oh, could you split the time and do the sturdier veg first and add the softer veg like the tomatoes and mushrooms halfway?
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the question. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yes, heartedly agree on that one. Um, Sometimes I like if I'm doing more root vegetables, like if I'm doing potatoes and beets and carrots, I will go ahead and parsnips, yams, and like I'm doing that whole kind of a combination. I will steam them, cook them a little bit first, and then put it all together. Kind
Yeah.
of speeds things up a bit. So that's another little technique.
Those
Send
are
it
for
to
the
your.
advanced beginner tips.
Yeah, yeah. So
It's a great idea.
yeah. Um, what else do I? Sometimes I add, like in this savory roasted vegetables, I'll add a little bit of even just like some firm tofu, instead of the chickpeas. That's kind of fun. And it just absorbs all that marinade as it's baking. So that's another tip that I do. And with the that Bali bowl, if you're not a big peanut sauce fan, you can use almond butter. That'd be a fun little change
Twist
of
on
pace.
it. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you could add a little lime instead of the rice vinegar and give it a little bit of a kick.
Yeah. And I
Mm-hmm.
think what's nice is kind of like salads, right? You can dress vegetables the way you like the taste, right? You might like the peanut butter, you might like a lemony sauce, like get
Right.
creative and see what it is you like. So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like to do a lot with tahini too, you know, the
mm,
sesame paste. So you could
yeah,
even kind of a sauce with that, you know,
yeah,
instead of not into a peanut or almond butter. So there's so many variables.
yeah.
Wonderful, something to flavor up your vegetables.
Exactly. So now I am going to say we have about 10 minutes left before class is done. I'm not sure if our veggies will be able to be cooked by then with some of it, but if you guys have any questions for the chef as well, you know, we're lucky to have Chef Alyssa who does this every day, is cooking for a living. I've learned so much over the last few years from
Mm,
you. You've really
mm.
made the kitchen a kind of fun, safe place for me. So
Friendly,
I'm,
a
yeah,
friendly place
friendly,
to be.
fun place, you know,
Uh,
and that's the thing. And that's what we really hope is that for some of you, this you may be experts, but for some of you, this may be new to you. So we just really want to encourage you to have fun and enjoy this time.
mhm. I really have found that cooking rice, you know, and just having it in the fridge is really helpful too, especially like if you're eating brown rice. I know white rice cooks really quick, but I just really find that helpful too, because it's kind of nice at the end of the day to have something little, I don't know if it's call it grounding or, you know, hearty that
Mm,
you can
Yeah.
build off of. I guess it
mhm.
depends on how you've eaten during the day, but
Yeah.
I enjoyed having that option.
Mhm.
And didn't we do a class once with a cauliflower, like kind of how people can cut them as quote cauliflower steaks and you
Steak,
roast them?
yeah.
Yeah, you can bake.
Mhm.
So,
I've done
you
that.
know, that's really a tasty one. You taught us
Mhm.
the cauliflower rice. That was exciting, but that's another one. Are there
Yeah,
any
they're both.
vegetables you wouldn't use roasting that you wouldn't think would be a great roasting vegetable, or do you think most of them we can do
God,
this?
I think you could do anything.
I think
Just
so too.
on, you know, what kind of vegetable they are and how fast they would cook and in relationship to the other vegetables. That option of adding in the quicker cooking ones, I've done that before, like with zucchini, you know,
Hmm.
adding that at the
Mm.
end, last 10 minutes, or just making them in really big chunks. So yeah, being just really mindful about the combination of your vegetables, whether they're the root or whether they have a lot of water in them, they're going to cook quicker, you know, like zucchini. Uh, but I really think that anything goes, you know, and it's kind of like, what's your favorite? What do you have on hand? Cauliflower steaks, I'm not sure if we've ever done a
They're
class on it.
good.
I
Hmm.
do
Oh,
enjoy
maybe
it.
not. Hmm.
That would be fun. I've got
Mhm.
one with like pesto sauce or chimichurri that I've made, but that would be fun to do sometime.
Yeah. All right. So I'm not sure, Chef, if you're gonna have time to be able to show how it looks at the end, or you know, I know because you've just started cooking them. If there's
Yeah,
anything you want to kind of even talk us through about how you would finish it up.
well, the volleyball, we finished that one up
Hmm.
with, you know, the different grains
Yeah.
and the crunchy vegetables. The savory roasted vegetables, now that one's going to probably be another 15 at least minutes. But
Mm.
generally what I do is I take it out and then toss it with fresh parsley, fresh chopped parsley, which I have waiting here just patiently. And that would be how I would present that. Uh, that would be really nice with like on a bit of warm polenta. I don't know if
Mm.
that
Ooh.
would be kind of fun to talk about cooking polenta someday, or even
Mhm.
They sell polenta in tubes nowadays, ready
Oh,
cooked
they
Yeah.
tube.
do. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I haven't cooked a lot with, but I know it's a
Mm-hmm.
good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's
Warm.
just so many things you guys can do with this, and we really hope that you got a little inspiration tonight. Chef's gonna, I always want to come over for dinner at your house when it's done. Um, and then we got a nice close view of it. So,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Chef Alyssa, for making it through the technical difficulties, for everyone who joined us. I know, Heather, you might have something, I don't know if there's anything we needed to show at the end with the PowerPoint to kind of
Yeah, I can
finish our
just kind
class up.
of
Yeah,
round us out a little bit. And of course,
that'd be
if you guys
great.
have any questions for Chef, feel free to put those into the chat so we can make sure that we get those answered for you. And let me back this up just a little bit. Oops. Yeah, so like
There
we were
we
saying,
go.
next month we will be, so every once a month we're going to have the culinary medicine class. It's moved from Mondays over to Thursdays. So it'll be Thursdays from 5 to 6. And our topic next month is love of lentils, which is fun because there's so much variety in the types of lentils and what you
Mm-hmm.
can do with them. So that can be really fun to play with. And then if you're looking for ways to implement some of what you're learning, like maybe you're attending, but you just find the recipes, right, go in a stack in the corner and you're not actually making them, you might want to consider partnering with a wellness coach such as Allison or I. We have a lot of team, a whole team of us that are there to support you. It might be around just having that support and accountability to get the recipes done, or in any of our other areas like healthy eating, getting active, stress, quitting tobacco. We can support you in a wide range of areas. And then we also hope that you'll check out some of our other classes as well. We have a wide range of those. We offer them every month. They're all virtual like this one, so you can enjoy them at different days and times that work for you. And I'll put that up on the screen here for you to look at. And that's pretty much what we have to share with you today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all of us for persevering through the technical challenges. And I really
Yes, and
enjoyed the
staying with
close-up
us. Me
of the,
too.
it looks like a Buddha bowl or Bali bowl right there on the
Right
screen
there,
here.
exactly. And see how pretty it is? You can just do so many things. And so, yeah. And easy breakfast recipes. Yes, good. We'll put that in our notes.
Right. And
Enjoy, you guys.
we're gonna do an Indian dal and a rainbow lentil soup next time.
Ooh, next
Mm.
month.
So that'll be
Here,
fun.
let's take your
Yeah.
PowerPoint down and I'll spotlight that again,
Oh,
Heather,
okay.
so we
Let
can look at her.
me
Yeah,
take this
look at
down.
how it looks. Yeah, and you
Yeah.
can go right
So
where you look at
similar.
that. Yep,
It's us.
Mm.
So
beautiful.
yeah.
So you guys, we really hope you take a moment before you step into the next part of your evening. Take a moment for yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back that you are working on being healthier and stronger. And I hope we gave you some good inspiration to bring to your friends and family. And we'll see you next month.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chef Alyssa. Thank you,
Thank
Allison.
you.
Thank you to
Yes.
all of you. And hopefully you can come next month and you can tell us how this worked out for you and what you
Exactly.
made.
I mean, look at that. I just want to eat
I
that.
really want
So
to
it
reach through
looks,
the screen.
me
Why can't we have
too.
that technology too?
I know. It's perfect. Next time. Hey, if we could
Well,
get
thank
through this, we're
you.
going to learn that. So you're welcome, you guys.
You're welcome. See you guys next time.
And have a great evening.